What's good? Hey, Chris here, otherwise known as Catch Freeman, jumping on for a bit. A few stories to get into, so let's get it.
My brigade is nearby. We're ready to free all your friends and kinfolk, but we'll need your help.
Oh, Lord, thank you, Jesus.
I got a letter saying I can join Catch a Freeman Brigade and ride out with them.
And that's your plan? Catch a Freeman, huh? Why not just wait for Santa Claus to take you away on his sled?
You don't believe in Catch a Freeman?
Of course I don't. I don't believe in the Easter Bunny either.
I'm telling you, man, Catch a Freeman is real. He go around from plantation to plantation, freeing all the slaves and shit. He like 14 feet tall, got trapezius muscles and biceps. Shit crazy. He ain't just no more. He's super. And he like a black-ass Batman, if you will. And he can fly.
Blocked the bullet with his handcuff.
Shh, you're messing up the ending.
Why do you still wear shackles?
So I'll never forget those who are still in bondage. Even though you'll be free
Catch a
soon.
Freeman ride through here with Brigade. I'm out of here. I want your people ready to move.
I'm telling you, man, Catch a Freeman is real.
That name was Freeman. Catcher Freeman.
Oh, yeah, what's good? What's good? Like, we are in the shit. Turns out the UK is responsible for bombing Nord Stream 1 and 2. Yeah, it's more than just an accusation being thrown about. Like, obviously the British media aren't going to tell you the truth. But it turns out the Russians have got some information anyway. Let's kick it.
The damage to the Nord Stream pipeline, of course, that is the pipeline that brings gas from Russia into Germany and then distributed around Europe. Some explosions in that pipeline that knocked out about some 50 meters from the pipeline. This coming from the Russia Defense Ministry, who are saying that according to available information to them, representatives of the British Navy took part in the planning, provision and implementation of what they call a terrorist attack in the Baltic Sea on the 26th of September.
Say what? Now, the Russians are outwardly coming out and saying it. They're saying it's the British. Usually, you watch these types of things, they'll make assertions. Oh, well, we're thinking, who's got the most? They won't just come out and say it. There's a reason the Russians are just coming out and saying it's the British. You know, for the last couple of weeks, we've all been going around thinking we know so much. Oh, it was definitely Joe Biden. Oh, it's Joe Biden. Yeah, have you seen the Joe Biden video? Yeah, we'll make sure. Yeah, we'll make sure it doesn't. Yeah, we've all seen that video. Joe Biden threatening to shut down Nord Stream like he can. Well, it's like he just gave the order to the English. Who was the Prime Minister at the time? It's hard to tell. We've had so many come in and out. Oh yeah, this trust. You think that's why Putin called her a silly little girl? Yeah, because she gave the go-ahead. Obviously, Boris would have planned it, and Liz gave the go-ahead.
Blowing up Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 gas pipelines. That coming directly from the Russia Defense Ministry. That has been translated. And as we understand it, other countries have also initiated investigations as to the causes of that. And as we understand it, the Russia Defense Ministry has not provided any evidence underpinning that statement, but
we haven't provided any evidence. Oh, in the same way that you guys just say it was Russia that brought down the Malaysian airline, in that kind of way. Okay, interesting.
Pretty bold accusation.
Bold accusation?
British.
What, in the way that you accused Russia of bringing down a commercial airliner when you in service to air missiles to Ukraine? Very bold.
Naval
very bold.
Involvement in what happened to Nord Stream pipelines.
Now, there's been ramifications of that. It wasn't just the bombing of Nord Stream. It was also an attack in Sevastopol. If you don't know, the Russians brokered a deal to get grain out of Ukraine. Ukraine creates a disproportionately high amount of grain, and they've been seeding a lot of the third world with that excess grain. Russia's all about it. They're like, yeah, let's help get this grain to the poorest countries of the world. The EU's saying like, no. Anyways, right? Russia brokered a deal with Turkey and Ukraine to get this grain flowing. Even under war, they said, yeah, no, we'll get the grain flowing, right? So while Russia agrees to this, guess what they do? They attack the Russian fleet. They attack the Russian fleet, safely escorting this grain to the poorest countries of the world. So you know what Russia's going to do? Russia's like, nah, I'm out of it. No, I'm out of it. No. If we can't even escort this grain to the poorest countries in the world, then we're out. Now, here's what's going to happen. Here's the long thing. Russia's going to stop supplying security for that grain, right? Then the grain's still going to go out, and guess what? It's going to get attacked. And guess who they're going to say did it? They're going to say the Russians did. But that's down the line. Because they're really going to try that for the stupid people, but that's down the line. Check out what the deal is right now. Listen.
Here's some breaking news. Russia says it's suspending its UN and Turkey brokered grain export deal with Ukraine. The country's defense ministry says it is pulling out due to recent attacks on its Black Sea fleet. Well, Harry Fawcett joins us from Kyiv. Harry,
Ukraine are attacking the very thing that's helping them get their own grain out. This is who you're dealing with.
I know it's early days. We haven't known this for very long, but what can you tell us around this news?
Well, certainly no reaction yet coming from the Ukrainian side, and no reaction as well to the accusations that Russia was making throughout the day that Ukrainian, with assistance, they said, from Britain, had attacked their Black Sea fleet in Sevastopol, the port in Crimea, which is obviously occupied by Russia, annexed by Russia in 2013. And so that is the reason that they're giving for having pulled out of this grain deal. This
Fair
is
enough.
A key breakthrough, really, both in terms of Ukraine's ability to export and then to harvest its agricultural crops.
Their own shit.
And in terms of world food supplies, there was a real logjam taking place in southern Ukraine.
But you know what the joke is? Like Vladimir Putin's like kind of laughing because he's saying that a lot of American companies own these grain companies. So you put in restrictions on getting out grain from companies that you own. This is how double down stupid it is. Remember, the EU blocked a generator from Canada from going to Russia because they've put a blockade on all Russian goods, even though that generator would have got Nord Stream 2 running again and piped gas, yeah, to Europe, so they would have had cheaper gas prices. But no, Victoria Nuland said, fuck the EU. Why? Because she knew the EU was potentially going to cave in because of the energy crisis. So she said, fuck them, okay? Or how do you fuck them? Okay, blow up their pipeline. Blow up their humanitarian aid efforts. And here we have the second part of the horrible shit. The first part was the blowing up of Nord Stream. Here's the second horrible thing that happened last week, which is basically using automated drones to try and take out escort ships, like getting grain to the poorest countries in the world.
So key to grain, to sunflower oil, to many agricultural products.
Sunflower oil.
Around the world, and a reason for some of the shortages and spikes in food prices around the world. That was struck back in late July. It was meant to last for 120 days.
I remember that.
Potentially be renewed on the 19th of November if there were no objections from any side. For some days now, Russia has been objecting to the terms and the way that it's been going on.
And imagine
complaints as well that Russia hadn't been able to export its own agricultural products and fertilizers.
The EU have put a block on all Russian fertilizers. The fertilizer goes out with the grain, but they're letting some of the grain go to the poorest countries, and they're blocking the fertilizer because the fertilizer is Russian. Now, the Russians, under this UN deal, were going to give that fertilizer to the poorest countries of the world at cost. At cost, so however much they made to manufacture it, that's how much they were going to sell it out, so it was like nothing to them. The EU said no, and they've left it in there till it's out of date. Do you know what happens to out-of-date fertilizer? You know what happens to out-of-date fertilizer? It becomes explosive. So you know what the Russians said? The Russians said, okay, it's out of date. Give it to them for free. Give it to them for free. Fine, okay, we won't make any money out of it. The EU said no. Oh, and by the way, right, you know the fertilizer that's not out of date, that can leave. That can leave. Oh, is it going to the poorest countries? No, it's going to Italy and Greece. So this is meant to be a humanitarian aid for the poorest countries in the world. Vladimir Putin called this neo-colonialism, and I can't see how it's anything other than that. You're going to steal grain and fertilizer for the poorest countries in the world, then you're going to ferry it into Europe. That's neo-colonialism, mate.
And now, in the light of this attack, which Russia said lightly damaged a minesweeper, there are reports that the damage was greater than that, and coming from both aerial and seaborne unmanned drones. Russia is now pulling out of this deal. So, as I say, we're still waiting to hear any reaction coming from the Ukrainians. As far as the British are concerned, they are denying any involvement in this morning's attack.
Listen, the Russians are providing a security escort, yeah, and they've come under attack. If you look in the Daily Mail today, it says Russia put stranglehold on grain, creating poverty in the poorest countries as well. How fucking stupid do they think we are, right? But this is the level of the news at the moment, and there's so many dumb people that are believing every word of it.
All right, Harry, stand by. We can bring our viewers a little bit more on that attack in the Black Sea that you mentioned. Russia says it repelled a Ukrainian drone attack on Black Sea Fleet ships docked in the Crimean city of Sevastopol. That's what Harry was talking about. The Kremlin claims the attack was carried out, quote, under the guidance of British specialists. Listen to this.
The Kyiv regime carried out a terrorist attack on ships of the Black Sea Fleet and civilian ships that were on the outer and inner roadsteads of the Sebastopol base. 9 unmanned aerial vehicles and 7 autonomous maritime drones were involved in the attack.
What we're looking at here...
So, Harry, in light of what we just heard, I want to...
What you just saw there was an excerpt of the Russian military briefing that basically most world powers do when they're conducting a military operation. You saw it when when NATO were doing that military operation in Syria. We saw it when they were doing the operation in bloody Libya, right? And there'll be you recognise that the EU ones, because there'll be one guy who tells you everything that's going on, then he'll tell you everything that's going on in French, then he'll tell you everything that's going on in German, then he'll tell you everything that's going on in Italian. You'll be sitting there going, oh wow, he's good, isn't he? Right, okay, yeah, we get those. The only reason why you don't get those from the Russian one is because most of the Russian media outlets have been banned, taken off Eurosat. You'll need a VPN to access Russia Today if you want to see the military briefings. If you've been watching the military briefings like I've been watching the military briefings, you'll know that Russia fully intended to make a strategic withdrawal for the winter. It's going to pull back and we're going to shore up here. Okay, that was it. It wasn't a stunning victory, a stunning reclaiming of ground for the Ukrainians, the plucky little Ukrainians overtaking it. That's just bullshit. It was a strategic withdrawal. And if you know anything about withdrawals, the rear guard always gets the shit. So yeah, you'll see a couple of bombed out vehicles, and because the rear guard always get the shit. It's not a stunning recapturing of land, it was a strategic withdrawal. But you don't get the military briefings, so how are you going to know? You're just going to believe the silly little man on Sky News, like, and over here on the graph we've got a, you're going to just believe that shit, and it is bullshit, because the little man with the graph, if I can remember correctly, said that the Russians weren't even going to get off the coast, and yet the map turned red. But anyway, listen up.
I want to go back to what you were telling us just a moment ago. Is there any reason to believe that the British at this stage were involved in any way, shape, or form with this attack?
They're coming from me.
Certainly nothing substantiated by the Russians. No evidence yet provided. They said not only were the British involved in this attack in the early hours of Saturday morning, they're also claiming that British underwater teams were involved in the sabotage of the Nord Stream 1 and 2 pipelines in the Baltic Sea a few weeks ago.
Are you hearing this? This is the devastating thing. The Russians are not only saying the British are involved, they're saying it's the same team that did Nord Stream. They're keeping an eye on them. No, they're not just saying it's the British. They're going, it's this team here. They've done this and they've done this, right? This is how specific. You have to tease out the information out of the news. The Russians are telling you it's a specific, like, special boat service type setup. It's not SAS, it'll probably be SBS.
Again, Britain is denying there's any involvement in either of those events. And so the key thing now, well, I suppose there are two big questions. How much damage really was done in this attack, and what kind of retaliation militarily might there be by the Russians? Because
now you want to know.
Just at the beginning of the month with the attack on the Kerch Bridge linking Crimea and mainland Russia, the truck bomb that was used to severely damage that bridge, that was followed just a couple of days later with heavy airstrikes on Kyiv and other parts of Ukraine. But already it seems there is retaliation on this sort of diplomatic, political, economic level with the decision by Russia to pull out of this deal. It is something that they seem to be edging towards over recent days. A lot more talk about this coming from the Kremlin, and now the Defense Ministry has announced that as a result of this attack in Crimea, they are pulling out.
And Harry, if you can take us back just a little bit, this deal was a hardly fought agreement that was found between Russia, between Ukraine. It was mediated by Turkey. It was hard to get to a point where there was an agreement to bring the grain out of the region.
It was on all sorts of levels, on the political level, on the logistical level. A lot of talk about the military dangers potentially for any civilian shipping going in and out from the port areas in southern Ukraine, the amount of mines floating in the water, and the kind of work that would need to be done on that front as well. But it was seen as crucial for Ukraine because the silos in which the previous year's harvest was still being stored were still, if not full, at least very, very much in use.
They're brimming.
To store the previous year's harvest, and with the new harvest coming up,
grain mountains,
a major economic and agricultural problem here in Ukraine and for the wider world. The amount of grain, the amount of sunflower seed and sunflower oil in the world economy coming from
most
fields of
Ukraine,
is substantial. It's a major part of that part of the global.
Most of your sunflower oil.
And so the prices were
not from South America.
There was real concern about hunger, especially in Africa, as a result of this logjam. And so it was extremely important. More than 9 million tons of agricultural products have already been shipped out as a result of this deal. And now it looks like it's, well, for now, it has ended. It's going to be extremely difficult, you'd imagine, to get it back up and running again from this point.
So it's
absolutely. Harry Fawcett reporting live from Kyiv on this breaking news. Thank you very much, Harry. Now let's bring in Rasul Serdar.
No, let's not. Also, there you go, right? That's it. The Russians are accusing the UK of being involved in two major incidents. The attempted sabotage of the security ships in Sevastopol, and also the sabotage of Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2. This is the full Ministry of Defense briefing from Colonel Igor Kanashenkov. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I'm just going to play so you get an idea of the shit that I kind of watch. This is what I watch. This is shit that you're not allowed to see that I watch, okay?
And 8 vehicles have been eliminated.
Eliminated?
In the Krasny Liman direction.
Hold up.
Initial positions by artillery fire, airstrikes, and active actions of the Russian troops. Up to 250 Ukrainian servicemen and fighters, 1 tank, 6 infantry fighting vehicles, 4 armored personnel carriers, and 8 vehicles have been eliminated. In the Krasny Liman direction, the enemy tried to conduct offensive operations by 2 company tactical groups near Stelmachovka, Makeivka, and Chervonopopovka in Lugansk People's Republic. All the attacks have been repelled. More than 50 Ukrainian servicemen, 1 tank, 2 infantry fighting vehicles, and 1 armored personnel carrier have been eliminated by artillery fire and air strikes. In the South Donetsk direction, the units of the Russian troops, in the course of the offensive, destroyed the enemy near Novomikhailovka and Vladimirovka in Donetsk People's Republic, and also seized a number of strong points and dominating heights.
See, this is the shit that I see, but you need a VPN.
Within the offensive, Russian troops advanced more than 3 kilometers deep into the enemy's defense and reached the southern outskirts of Pavlovka of Donetsk People's Republic. Over 100 Ukrainian personnel, 1 tank, 3 armored fighting vehicles, and 6 pickups have been eliminated. 6 Ukrainian servicemen surrendered, and 1 Ukrainian tank was captured. In the Nikolaev-Kryvyi Rog direction, the Ukrainian armed forces launched 3 unsuccessful attacks by company tactical groups near Petikatki, Chervony Yar, and Dishchenko in Kherson region. The enemy has been driven back to its initial positions by fire and decisive action of Russian troops. 13 areas of the enemy's manpower reserves have been eliminated. Over 180 Ukrainian personnel, 11 armored fighting vehicles, and 21 motor vehicles have been eliminated. Tactical and army aviation, missile troops and artillery.
This sounds like some James Bond shit that have been eliminated. 30 seconds and counting.
Have hit the Ukrainian Armed Forces Communications Center near Bilaevka in Kherson region, an ammunition depot near Kupiansk in Kharkov region, as well as 68 artillery units and firearm positions, manpower and military equipment in 189 areas. A training center for special operations forces of the Ukrainian armed forces has been eliminated by a strike of Russian troops near Kharkov in Nikolaev. In the course of counter-battery warfare, an artillery battery of American M777 howitzers has been hit near Shevchenko in Kherson region.
Oh, you saw it go in. They're using the fixed wing.
Have been hit near Zaporozhye. A launcher for a German Mars 2 multiple launch rocket system and ammunition of rocket and artillery weapons have been destroyed near Meshkov in Nikolaev. One US manufactured AN-TPQ-36 counter-battery warfare radar has been destroyed near Nikolaevka in Donetsk People's Republic. Fighter aircraft has shot down one Mi-8 helicopter of...
Right, so I'm into my drones, right? So I've usually got 4 motors. Like, I know how to build those fixed wings. Right? And the thing about those fixed wings is like you're dealing with the much greater distance. There's always the propensity to lose it, but you could put a GPS in it and then you could like really track it for a long distance flight and film big, like, so it kind of, if you program in the flight path, it flies out of your transmission range, but it's like locked into GPS, so it will go all the way around and come back. Now I know how to build those, and shit, look what I can't believe what I'm looking at.
Near Dutchani in
I believe what I'm looking at.
Air defense facilities have shut down 1 Su-25 aircraft of Ukrainian
I can
Air
build
Force
this.
near
I can build
Nikolskoye
one
in
of
Donetsk
these.
People's Republic.
I'm not sure.
2 Mi-8 helicopters of...
I'm not sure about the tracking camera, but I can build the camera, and I can build the thing to fly it and get somewhere.
The Ukrainian Air Force have been shot down near Kirovsk and Konstantinovka in Donetsk People's Republic. 10 Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicles have been destroyed near Nikolskoye, Komsomolsky, Volnoye in Donetsk People's Republic, Kolomychiha, Kamenka, Vrubovka, Sosnovy in Lugansk People's Republic, and Mechnikovo in Kharkov region. In addition, 32 projectiles of the American HIMARS multiple launch rocket system have been shot down near Vuglar, Mezhevoye of Donetsk People's Republic, Antonovka, Novaya Kakhovka, Olgovka, Pershotravnivoye, Povo in Kherson region, and 1 rocket near Popasnaya in Lugansk People's Republic. 6 American HARM anti-radar missiles have been intercepted near Antonovka in Kherson region. In total, 328 airplanes and 167 helicopters, 2,380 unmanned aerial vehicles, 384 air defense missile systems, 6,192 tanks and other armored fighting vehicles, 879 combat vehicles equipped with MRLS, 3,537 field artillery cannons and motors, as well as 6,898 units of special military equipment have been destroyed during the special military operation. Despite the presence of the International Atomic Energy Agency representatives at Zaporozhye nuclear power plant, Kiev regime continues provocations aimed at posing a threat to create a technological disaster. There were 3 reports of shelling by artillery units of the Ukrainian armed forces of Energodar and the territory adjacent to the station. A total of 10 shells were fired. Ukrainian artillery shelling was carried out from Novokiivka of Dnepropetrovsk region. In the course of the counter-battery fight, the Ukrainian units were suppressed by return fire from Russian artillery. within an attempted landing by a Ukrainian sabotage and reconnaissance group to get into Energodar of Zaporozhye region. One speedboat of the Ukrainian armed forces has been eliminated. The radiation environment at the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant remains normal.
Now this is the other side. This is what the Ukrainians just release a list like this. But the thing about following the Russian military briefings is you can tell whether or not anything is a lie or not because you get the stats incrementally, right? So it makes it harder for them to lie about how things are going because you receive constant updates so you can know whether or not the stats are going skew with. So that's the two major things. Now here's the thing, this is what I want you to really take a look at. This is incredible. This is what the Russians have pulled. And you have to understand Russian technological ability at the moment. Anything that gets transmitted or received, they can pull that data and then they can translate that data into either audio or visual, whatever that data was. And here's the mad thing. You want to know what the mad thing is? They can pull that transmission retrospectively. How the fuck do you do that? How the fuck do you do that? They can put so they've got something on constant monitoring all transmissions, and they can go back and have a record of that transmission. Now me, I know I fly drones. My transmitter is 2.8 gigahertz. The video is 5.2 gigahertz, right? And so those are the transmissions that are going on. There's my controller, and then there's the video feed. The Russians have pulled the video feed of the attempted sabotage here from the boat that the British and the Ukrainians were using to try and destroy the escort. So there we see an escort in the distance, and this is the camera, yeah, from the explosive boat, right? It's the camera from the explosive boat. Check this shit out. Check this shit out. Look, it's on its way, right? Which appears to show Ukrainian drone attack on. Now, how does the Russians get this? Video from one of the sea drones showed the unmanned vehicle weaving between enemy boats. Check it. Look, it's under fire. Look at this, man. Look at this. What the fuck? This is badass. Look at this. This is mad shit. This is the mad. Look at this, man. Proper. Oh shit, man. Look at this. Yeah, man. Now, how did the Russians get that? That's part of the attempt to destroy the Russian escorts. How did the Russians get that video? They can pull the. I'm telling you they're on the next level. Because think about it. Hold on. Because if I can just show this, that boat goes all the way into the ship, hits the ship, and explodes. They didn't send no frogman to the bottom of the sea looking for a SIM card. Do you understand? Do you understand what I'm saying? They pulled that video as it was transmitting. Come on now, check it, right? Vessel appears to be Russia's Black Sea Fleet. Video stops when the drone reaches the Russian boat, but it wasn't the flagship. It hit the minesweeper. This is the minesweeper. Look, you can see it going all the way in, going all the way in, going all the way in. It's going to hit on the side. Still on the way in, boom. Video gets cut. Open source investigators said the frigate was one of 3 Russian ships. How did they? That explosion was recorded in some part of the Sebastopol. Now, how did the Russians get that bit of badass footage? How have we got this? How has this badassery bit of footage come into the world? Right? Because it would have been someone remotely steering the boat, right? Because they're hitting a moving target. This would have been remotely steered, and they would have been getting visuals from it. It could even have been a GoPro, but they would probably use something different. It could have been a GoPro on the top. The Russians stole all of that data. That's how they got this footage. Not only that, seeing as the Russians can pull that data retrospectively, and that's what does my brain in about retrospectively. So they can go back to a couple of hours before and scan and see whether or not any transmissions were made. Then they'll be able to triangulate the transmission, right? Not only the receiver, the transmitter as well. They'll be able to, so they'll know what the boat was, and they'll know where the operator was. Now all they need to do is check CCTV or anything like that around that area, and they'll know. But that's how they know it's the same team that did Nord Stream. That's how they know. But hold on, I have a cherry for this. I have a cherry for the top of this. Technologically, That's how they know. Technologically, that's how they know. Now, here's the thing. This is the thing. The Russians are playing with you. Well, they're playing with English because they're showing you that they know because of the technology. They sucked up this video feed. And they would have got a triangulation on who the drone operator was as well, or where they were, right? This is not the bad arsery. Are you ready? Hold on to your hats. You ready? Mail on Sunday exclusive. Liz Truss's personal phone was hacked by Kremlin agents and was so compromised it was locked away in a secure location that experts fear top secret negotiations and private messages may have been leaked. Private messages. How about Liz Truss texting US Defense Ministry 2 minutes after the explosion happened saying it's done? Liz Truss's phone has been hacked by the Russians and they got all of it. That's how they know it's the British, 100%. Remember, Joe Biden said he'd get it done. I didn't think that we would be the bloody patsy. Now we're in the bloody way. Now the nukes potentially are coming to an area near me. What a dumb cow. Cyber spies are believed to have gained access to top secret exchanges. I believe they also listened into private conversations with Kwarteng. Her phone was heavily compromised and placed inside a lock safe afterwards. Oh my God. Oh my God. George Galloway goes in.
Has nothing to do with the midterm elections, which are
sorry.
Cloud. And it is a harbinger of great storms to come. And those storms will look like this. Increasingly, on the European mainland, the country, the people, and even now the governments of mainland Europe are tiring of the UK-US suicide mission that they have been forced to undertake. They will not forgive an attack costing billions and costing, even more importantly, potentially the lives of tens of thousands of people who will freeze to death in Europe in the coming months.
Right.
They will not forget the way that the euro and the European economy has been sacrificed for the dollar and for the economy of the United States of America. They will not forget that American nuclear weapons, new nuclear weapons, have now been seeded on American bases throughout their territory, making them an instantaneous target in an intermediate range nuclear exchange of weapons, which may very well happen as a result of the Ukraine war. They will not forgive the interference in their political, economic, and sovereign internal affairs that Britain and the United States in particular have been responsible for. And so the great storm to which I refer is one in which Britain and the United States become increasingly isolated in public opinion first, and isolated formally, politically, and economically. Macron and Scholz are busily preparing a legal challenge against the United States' unfair economic practices, its false notions of capitalist competition. And that court action is about to begin. And that...
So, I recall the wise men one time, shout out to the elders of GMS, I recall them saying a very long time ago that all of Europe were going to turn against America at some point. And I was like, no, that's just not going to happen. Like, the EU, only until Nord Stream happened did I even see the possibility of that happening. My God, when Brexit happened, that's how I knew Europe 100% was the 10 toes. When Brexit happened, right? Brexit happened, I was like, definitely, because if England was part of the EU, that would have been a very firm. It wouldn't have been the like iron and miry clay intermixed, right? Do you know what I mean? So, boy, bombing of Nord Stream, that's what's done it, if you ask me. So that's where we are, man. I hope you like it. This is where the Tories got us into, man. It's the top of the hour. Anyway, let's move on to the next story, right? Now, I heard about the Pelosi thing, right? I heard about it last night. And here's the thing. When this story got to me, like, the way it came to me, like, bearing in mind I'm doing this thing on Twitch where I'm doing politics on Twitch, right? And half of the people that I meet doing politics are just like dunce, right? I've been having more constructive conversations with people on the right, believe it or not, stupidly or not. We talk about policy and stuff. And the people that I want to actually talk to on the left have no ability to argue policy. They don't know anything about politics. It's all personality based. They don't know the first thing about politics. They couldn't name you one Joe Biden policy, right? So when I heard this news, I was like, oh my God, like, these Trump guys, man, they're taking it too far. Oh man, like, this is like what, like, political violence now, because the news got to me as that this madman has broken into the house with a hammer, and he's going to wait for Nancy Pelosi to get home, and he's going, oh, Nancy, and he's got like zip ties and shit, bringing your mind back to January the 6th. I streamed January the 6th, and I remember when they were walking through going, Nancy, and I remember the zip tie guy. So all of these triggers to make you think, oh, extremist, January the 6th attacking thing. I thought, and I sat here for about an hour. I thought, man, Donald Trump's people, they're just too wild with it, man. That's just like, that's not on. 2 twos now. That's not the full story, but let me just play you how I heard it. This is how I heard
spotted today, leaving her San Francisco home.
Madam Speaker, how's your husband doing?
The speaker sending this letter to her colleagues late Saturday night, writing that she and her family are heartbroken and traumatized, but that Mr. Pelosi's condition continues to improve. With both Paul Pelosi and the suspect, David DePape, still in the hospital today, new details in the investigation revealing zip ties were found in the Pelosi home. Police also confirming the two men did not previously know each other. As investigators interview the suspect and review his online activity, his extremist ideologies bringing some Republicans to question the current political climate.
Well, we've got to figure out how to bring our country back together where we have a civil conversation and, you know, we have no violence. I mean, what happened to Paul Pelosi is despicable. It's unacceptable.
This guy is sort of the picture of radicalization on the internet. 15 years ago, in 2007, he was posting pretty standard anti-war left-wing viewpoints. Then there's a 15-year gap on his blog. And in 2022, he's posting QAnon and Pizzagates.
Online disinformation often tied to an increase in political violence. The U.S. Capitol Police reported that threats against members of Congress have more than doubled in the last 5 years. Growing concern as Elon Musk, the new owner of Twitter, spread a conspiracy theory about the attack in a now-deleted tweet.
I just don't think.
See, here's the thing. The media have already lied to you 2 or 3 times, and then they said Elon Musk has spread a conspiracy theory in the tweet. You know, Elon Musk just took over Twitch, right? Elon Musk just took over Twitch, and he just fired a lot of the board of Twitch that have been implementing these really stupid policies and shit. He didn't tweet a conspiracy theory. He tweeted some public domain facts, like this assailant, this is hammer carrying assailant, apparently was in his underwear. Yeah, the assailant was in his underwear when police turned up. Yeah. Oh, it gets a little bit stranger. Anyway, let's carry on.
People should be making money off of passing on this stuff that's a bunch of lies.
Larger questions about the role of online regulation to prevent further physical violence as prosecutors prepare to bring charges against the suspect as early as Monday.
Now, you hear that and you're like, that's terrible. That's terrible. But then, part of the other, part of the agenda, right, is to silence people using shaming tactics. Elon Musk removes tweet about Paul Pelosi. Okay, but let's see if they give you any information about the tweet, or do they tell you everything around the tweet?
There might be more than meets the eye to this story, and attached a link to an unfounded conspiracy theory opinion piece from an outlet known to espouse such material. This comes just days after...
Whoa, excuse me for what? Sorry, exponent of the English language here. Excuse me? How did you just report that again? Excuse me?
Tweet about Pelosi's alleged attacker. In a now deleted tweet, Elon Musk wrote, "There might be more than meets the eye to this story."
There's nothing wrong with more than meeting the eye to a story. That's not a conspiracy.
And attached a link to an unfounded conspiracy theory.
An unfounded conspiracy theory. So the guy's already made up his mind about whether or not it's true or not. They've just told you it's an unfounded conspiracy theory. Listen.
Opinion piece from an outlet known to espouse such material.
From an outlet known to espouse it. Yeah, what was the information? What was the information? It's rubbishy.
This comes just days after he took ownership of the platform he's known for using to spread questionable content.
Oh, you're not biased at all, are you, Vijay? No.
He's been okay talking to and kind of buddying up a little bit with extremism. So I'm not surprised.
Oh, so now he buddies up with extremism. Shout out to Sharky. Shout out to CFR.
Surprised to see him tweeting out this story, which appears to be a really nasty conspiracy theory.
The article addresses the attack on Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband inside their San Francisco home and questions Mr. Pelosi's sexuality, even suggesting he may have known his attacker.
Oh, how terrible. How... do you mean that's like... Are they saying that's not true? Are they saying he does... Oh, by the way, it's just a little bit of comedy relief in the meantime. You know?
I do think we've failed in a couple of ways, and I want to admit that.
Failure comes with a big penalty. You're fired.
Why don't we...
Yeah. Yeah, that happens.
You know?
I do think we've...
Oh, did it?
I do think we've failed in a couple of ways, and I want to admit that.
Failure comes with a big penalty. You're fired.
Why don't we...
Yeah. Bit of creative editing there. A bit of creative editing, but that's actually what happened today, right? But anyway, getting back to Elon Musk's conspiracy tweet, yeah? Getting back to Elon Musk's conspiracy tweet, listen to the, I think we get an opportunity to listen to the 911. Open that a bit. We get an opportunity to listen to 911. Listen to 911, listen.
Hey, 14 hour copy. RP stated that there's a male in the home and that he's going to wait for his wife. RP stated that he doesn't know who the male is, but he advised that his name is David and that he is a friend.
Oh, there's a man in the house who's going to wait for my wife. His name is David. I don't know him, but he's a friend. Like a friend of Dorothy's. That type of friend? Friend of Dorothy's, right? That's the only kind of euphemism of friend that I know. Like, and you don't know the person because they've been out, because he's been out cruising. This is a little bit by Paul Joseph Watson. Sorry. Shit. I spammed the wrong button. Bit by Paul Joseph Watson.
RP sounded somewhat confused. Is a friend?
Why was DePape dressed only in his underwear when police arrived?
There is reporting, Martha, that the suspect was arrested in his underwear.
Say what? Say what?
Was DePape dressed only in his underwear when police arrived?
There is reporting, Martha, that the suspect was arrested in his underwear.
I mean, if you're planning a political assassination, are you really going to show up in your underwear?
I mean, it's a good point, and I believe the guy lived in a different state, so I'm kind of hazarding a guess he would have got to the residence fully clothed, because they failed to see how he could have got into a wealthy residence like the Pelosi residence dressed like a baby.
To carry it out. Why did the culprit only start attacking Pelosi after the police arrived?
When the officers arrived on scene, they encountered an adult male and Mr.
Pelosi's husband, Paul. Our officers observed Mr. Pelosi and the suspect both holding a hammer. The suspect pulled the hammer away from Mr. Pelosi and violently assaulted him with
Why did the culprit allow Pelosi to go to the bathroom from where he called the police? What kind of home invasions involve bathroom breaks? Politico reported that officers knocked on the door and were let in.
Hold on. Paul Joseph Watson, hold on. And can I take you back to the Johnny Depp Amber Heard? There was a bathroom. You remember when she kicked the bathroom door into Johnny Depp's face? Oh, I don't know. A lot of shit goes down in the bathroom. Yeah, you can't just I've been streaming shit. Shit goes down in the bathroom.
By an unknown third person.
Oh yeah, that's right. The police were let in by an unknown third person. So much for the terrorist attack.
Who was this person? And were they trying to stop the attack or not? Let's pause for a minute for a word from the sponsor of this video.
Let's not. But anyway, yeah, there you go. And hold on a second, something quite funny. This is a tweet from Donald Trump Jr. with regard to Nancy Pelosi's husband. Yay. Now, looks like Nancy Pelosi's husband can't keep his bitches in order. That's what it looks like to me. Yeah, he's got 99 problems. And his bitch is out of control. Running around in your underpants with a hammer. Like, did he not pay him properly or something? Like, come on now. The man clearly had predilections, right? But I do feel a little bit ashamed that I immediately thought that it was like a right-wing attack. But imagine if it had played out like that. Imagine if some of this information had not leaked out. Imagine if this story had got out the way they wanted it to go out. Would this not have been another emotional trigger to make everybody go and vote Democrat in the same way that they showed you the George Floyd death video over and over again, which traumatized my entire class when I was teaching, and that traumatized an entire year group of young people, that video, right? And it made everyone go out and want to vote Democrat. It was weaponized for that, right? Point is, we understand when things are being weaponized. This does actually look like another weaponized story from the Democrats to try and garner some sort of sympathy. Don't you guys have your midterms? Aren't there midterms any day? Midterms this week, isn't it? Midterm elections this week? Funny that, isn't it? In his underpants. Well, there you go. It wasn't a MAGA inspired. It's made it sound really bad. I'm actually a little bit. I'm glad I actually keep an eye open for this. And anyway, Elon Musk tweeted the information first. You see how the mainstream media are rubbishing it off? This is why the internet's powerful, and I'm actually quite glad that Elon Musk has got Twitter now, because as you can see, the moment Elon Musk has got Twitter, the real information comes out. Because if Elon Musk didn't have Twitter, that would have been a crazy Donald Trump supporter, right? Oh, Nancy, and I got the zip ties and shit, right? Rather than a jilted lover, which is what I think it is. So let's clap that one. Right, last but not least, this is how I'm going out. Going out like that. Ain't going out like that. Ain't going out. Funny thing is, I had a troll in my Twitch stream earlier on, telling me that I follow basketball when I don't. I actually follow cricket. I don't know the first thing about basketball. I don't know who's big now. I know Kobe Bryant was big. I know Magic Johnson was big. Magic Johnson, yes. Shaquille O'Neal, Larry Bird, yeah. Larry Bird, yeah. Boston Celtics, yeah. See, that's the extent of my. But no, apparently I must know everything about basketball because I'm talking about this, right? But it's weird. Twitch is a free kettle of fish. I've known about Kyrie Irving for about 48 hours now, right? Good old Jimmy, yeah. Good old Jimmy. I've only known about Kyrie Irving for about 48 hours, but I like the young man's style. I like his candor, I like his demeanor. He reminds me of Lewis Hamilton, right? He reminds me of Lewis Hamilton's ability to keep calm when he's just been screwed out of something. Really, like something that would make the average man like tear up or his voice will wobble, and Lewis will just be there. I'd like to give my thanks to the team. We all win together, and we're going to move on to the next race. And you're like, yeah. These are all the thoughts that I had before when I was doing my Twitch. You see that? Right? So I like his candor. Anyway, turns out, right? He plays for a basketball team. Can't remember which one. He plays for a basketball team, right? And he put out a tweet. Nothing big. Hebrews to Negroes. Wake Up Black America. It's a book. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 star book on. There you go, 4.5 stars. Look, what? Hey, I tell you what. These guys need to come and attack. Don't they need to come and attack Amazon, right? Because apparently the oh shit. Hold on a second. Let's do this properly so you can see everything. But you better. Right. So he posted just a link to the DVD, Hebrews to Negroes. I know of this DVD. I'm aware of the DVD, but apparently the team owner, or is it the team, or was it from another team? But I think it was the team owner from his team, right? Put out a tweet. Let's get this tweet. I'm disappointed that Kyrie appears to support a film based on a book full of anti-Semitic disinformation. Right, see, as I said, I'm doing this as a YouTube video because, like, you know, you're gonna get dragged in. Yeah, everyone who made the effort to learn the history over the last 20, 30 years, you're all gonna be everything you learned apparently is anti-Semitic. Everything that you learned was anti-Semitic. So from Hebrews to Negroes, apparently, is disinformation. I want to sit down and make sure he understands this is hurtful to all of us. Jews, all of us. Who is he talking about? And as a man of faith, it is wrong to promote hate based on race, ethnicity, or religion. There's no hate in Hebrews to Negroes. It's in-depth study on the cultural similarities of the people used during the transatlantic slave trade, which is why we all have a similar vibe. It's why the Caribbean can move to America and vibe just fine and stay in the same communities. You know, there's some black people that don't live. You guys don't live in the same community as the Somalians, like up in, whereas not Cincinnati, whereas the Minnesota. You know what I mean? They got their own community, right? And you know, people have different communities. Some people can roll with other people. You know what I mean? But like in this instance, Hebrews to Negroes, Wake Up Black America, the young man is just finding out information and good on him. But apparently, according to the team owner, and this is where we're all going to start to be sharp, he's calling it anti-Semitic disinformation. And this is what I want. I did this on Twitch. I'm going to do it here as well. If Hebrews to Negroes is anti-Semitic information, what the fuck are all these books that I've got here? What's Hebrewisms of West Africa? What's Hebrewisms of West Africa? I mean, like Hebrews to Negroes, right? Hebrews to Negroes. I got Hebrewisms of West Africa. Where were the Negroes taken from just prior to the transatlantic slave trade? What part of West Africa? Oh, Hebrewisms of West Africa. Oh, can we name a city or a town in West Africa that might have been relevant to all this? Okay, wait. Well, no, not Babylon to Timbuktu. Not Timbuktu in Mali, Timbuktu. No, not the home of the great university and the center of trade. No, not and from Babylon to, how dare we assert that we're from? I mean, we've got some midway points before you get to Negroes. Before you get to Negroes, I've got all the heralds, yeah, and the coats of arms, right, of all the black families of nobility. Oh yeah, you know, the black families of nobility that inspired Shakespeare to write Othello. You know, that thing that's real in the world? Shakespeare just pulled a black dude out of his ass and just made him a prince. But you get all that error in nature knows no colour, and then they knew who they were, and they knew who they were descended from, because by the time they get to Haiti and they're becoming Negroes, they're actually calling themselves the Black Jacobins. It's funny that, isn't it? Jacobins like Jacob and Esau, like Jacob, like Jacobins, Jacob, yeah. Oh, you mean the continuities there, even up into the Negro part. Oh my, oh, is there a side tangent that I could go off that would ultimately put a rubber stamp on this bullshit from this team owner? Yeah, there would be. That would be the History of the American Indians by James Adair, right? Where you can find out where Issachar, Manasseh, and Reuben and some of the other tribes were, and where they lived and what language they were speaking, which just happens to be, what's the language again? What's the language again? Oh yeah, Hebrew. That's right, yeah. Because in my culture, I've got things like Anansi the spider, Anansi who comes to teach us wisdom. What's the Hebrew name for spider? Oh, it wouldn't be Anansi by any chance. Oh, it is. Oh my God. You mean I've got Hebrew running in my culture? Oh shit. And all of these books, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. These are the ones I got to hand. I've got about 30 more. Other ones like Destruction of Black Civilization, Chancellor Williams, and other stuff like just economic stuff, but historical stuff. I've got the Lost Book of Enoch and other, Lost Book of Enoch study notes as well. Goes all the way back. The history goes way back, but apparently Hebrews to Negroes is anti-Semitic, and it's full of, what is it again? What's it again? It's full of anti-Semitic disinformation. And he's promoting hate based on race, ethnicity, and religion. And all I can say is this is there's some scriptures coming into mind. Yeah, there's scriptures coming into mind. Those, but I'm not going to say what they are, even though I should just be able to rattle off the chapter and verse, but I can't do that, right? And I know that this type of subject matter, I think if I say the wrong thing, it would just go. I'm being careful with my words, right? But yeah, I challenge anyone to find out what the hate and disinformation was, as well as this anti-Semitic part. Now I know in the UK, I know the term to be Shemitic, and I'm Shemitic. I consider all Caribbeans to be Shemitic. I consider the African Americans to be Shemitic in the same way that the Ugandans and the Kenyans are Hamitic people. Somalians are Hamitic people, right? We're Shemitic people. They're Hamitic people out of Africa. It's like, what are we going to read? What, I don't know. What are we going? Is that so? How can we be anti ourselves? I'm confused, because this is part of the bullshit. Now, hold on a second. This is new bullshit coming out of America. This other bullshit, you know about pronouns, you know about critical race theory, you know about just like these stupid new things that they're creating to be angry about, right? This one is a little bit different. This one is the reckoning that I always knew was coming, right? As we found out our history, right? We found out that we're Israelites, and this is where Kanye West went off. Kanye, like, you can be ish all you like. I don't want to be anything ish. It's just a suffix meaning pertaining to. I am the am. I'm not an ish. I am the am. Always have been the am. I don't need to call myself an ish pertaining to. That's for people who are disassociated from the original, who have to apply a suffix saying ish because you're pertaining to it. You don't have to put, anyways, you don't have to put an ish when you're a definitive. When you are the definitive, you don't need an ish on your description. Do you see what I mean? Anyways, don't want to ramble. Let me just show you the gentleman in question, who I'm a new fan of, Kyrie Irving.
It's a title given to Christ, Philippians 2:11.
Oh, this is a deeper one.
Translates in the Hebrew language as Yahweh.
Oh, so, Kyrie translates to Yahweh. My head's about to explode because there's another one coming. Hold on. I'm coming to the outro, but hold up. Wait a minute. I've got something for your ass. Check it.
I went on the Amazon Prime. I was like, you know what? Let me see if there are any documentaries on Yahweh.
Okay.
So went in the search bar,
yep.
typed in Yahweh.
Yeah.
That came up.
Yeah.
Went out and shared it on my platform.
Yeah.
That was my night. in terms of the backlash or what people call it.
No biggie then.
We're in 2022. History is not supposed to be hidden from anybody.
No.
And I'm not a divisive person when it comes to religion. I embrace all walks of life. You see it on all my platforms. I talk to all races, all cultures, all religions, and my response would be, it's not about educating yourself on what Semitism is and what anti-Semitism is. It's really about learning the root words of where these come from and understanding that this is an African heritage that is also belong.
See, here's the thing. Okay, I say I'm Shemitic, right? Because it comes from sons of Noah, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. So if Ham is the progenitor of the dark races, and his brother was Shem, i.e. Shemites, yeah? Okay, what color do you think the brother of the person responsible for the dark races was? Purple? It's hard. Because from Ham come the Hamites, and from Shem, his brother, come the Shemites. This is not new. This is old. This is easy stuff. This is roll out of bed, rudimentary. So if Hamites are black, what colour of their brothers going to be, and where they're going to live around, and who they're going to look similar? Which is why I said, just for simple, for anyone who's just rolling out of bed and didn't know this, the Shemites are the ones who do the 100 meters. Yeah, good at 100 meters. Do the jazz, the funk, the soul, the hip hop, rhythm and blues. Must mix those. Number one, like the basketball, drum and bass, the salsa, the merengue, all that shit, yeah. And the Hamites, they're the ones who are good at the 15,000 meters and the steeplechase, yeah. And the ones where you have to jump over that fence and into the water, you know those ones, them long-waisted marathons and shit like that, yeah. And they've got a thinner, bonier frame to us. We've got a stockier frame. We're more like what's his name? Fastest man in the world, Usain Bolt. That builds, yeah. We're not skinny bony. That's the mark of the Hamites. Even the British, even the American army were calling them the skinnies, and you're in Somalia, right? This is physical attributes. This is not hard, but anyway. Sorry, I had to interject and I had to say that because
belonging to the people. Africa is in it.
It's African.
You want to dismiss it or not? So
yeah,
the claims of anti-Semitism. And
how could you be anti yourself? Mind you, America, it's very easy. You guys, lots of Stevens over there.
We were the original chosen people of God, and we go into these religious conversations, and it's a big no-no. I don't live my way like that. I don't live my life that way. Excuse me. I grew up in a melting pot, and I say a melting pot of all races: white, black, red, yellow, Jewish, Christian, Muslim, and you can see the way I live my life now. I'm not here to be divisive, so they could push their agenda. I don't want to say they, because I'm not identifying any one group.
What a nice, reasonable young man. What a nice. I'm getting a decent spirit off the young man.
A race of people, but I'm in a unique position to have a level of influence on my community, and what I post does not mean that I support everything that's being said or everything that's being done, or I'm campaigning for anything. All I do is post things for my people in my community and those that it's actually going to impact. Anybody else that has criticism, it obviously wasn't meant for them.
Hello?
Hopefully I'm understanding what you said, and I want to make sure I get it right because I don't want to misquote any part of it.
I don't expect understanding from a media conglomerate group that sincerely talks about the game of basketball, and then we bring up religion as if it's correlative at times when it's convenient for people to bring it up. So please just be direct with your question, so we can move on from this. And
Stop
I can talk about the game.
Bullshitting. Yeah, stop
son,
bullshitting.
And my wife, Marlene. Okay?
His son, Elohim. His son, Elohim. Supreme One. Most High. His son's name is in Hebrew as Most High. And the Jews trying to get him on anti-Semitism. You can't make this shit up. His name is Kyrie, which means Yahweh, and his son is called Elohim.
Move on from this, and I could talk about the game and go home to my son Elohim and my wife, okay?
His son is called Elohim, and you've got the guy trying to say he's anti-Semitic when he's giving you a God name in your face. He's giving you a Hebrew name in your face. This is supreme dumbness. It's beautiful, but it's supreme dumbness. The media are dumb as fuck, right? We're in a world of, they're so dumb as fuck, and he's the dude so for a second. What's disconnected, reconnected, what the hell? I don't know. Anyway, what the hell's happened there? Anyway, I don't know what happened. Connection successful. I don't know what happened there. It went out and came back in again. Anyway, just to recap what I said, I think I had a little bit of an outage there. You can't write this stuff, right? You've got a kind of predator type interviewer trying to catch him out for being anti-Semitic when he just told you his son's name is Elohim, and that went right over his head because he's too stupid to understand what's going on. He doesn't get it. He's out of his depth in this conversation, right? He's out of his depth in this conversation. The dude throwing out the questions, he doesn't deserve to be throwing out these questions. He's not an authority. And here's the thing, he's trying to come across like he's an authority, like he's right, and this guy just needs to get the offense that he's done. Mate, he's just told you what his name is, and he's told you what his son's name is. Oh, this is sounding a bit biblical, isn't it? He told you what his name is, he told you what his son's name is. And dude don't know Elohim means the supreme one in Hebrew, but he's trying to call him anti-Semitic. This is dumb on a global scale.
Am I to take it that this was what you shared was not something that you've even watched? This was, you did watch it, or either watch it or read it.
Read a lot. Read a whole bunch. Good and bad about the truth of our world.
So then do you, I guess, understand or not understand those that might imply that work had anti-Semitic leanings in it? I only ask this because the tweet is still up there, so
we're in 2022. It's on Amazon, a public platform. Whether you want to go watch it or not is up to you. There's things being posted every day. I'm no different than the next human being, so don't treat me any different. You guys come in here and make up this powerful influence I have.
4.5 stars.
On top of the adultery of, oh, you cannot post that. Why not? Why not? Everybody posts everything else. You saw the word nigger going up on Twitter, right? I don't hear uproar on that. I'm not here to be divisive on what's going on this or that. I'm not comparing Jews to blacks. I'm not comparing white to black. I'm not doing that.
This is talking about himself.
Conversation is dismissive, and it constantly revolves around the rhetoric of who are the chosen people of God. And I'm not here to argue over a person or a culture or religion on what they believe. Nah, this is what is here. It's on a public platform. Did I do anything illegal?
On Amazon. It's on Amazon.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Did I do anything illegal?
See,
did I hurt anybody? Did I harm anybody? Am I going out and saying that I hate?
Remember, and from my other previous podcasts, I'm saying anti-racism is meant to be a positive attribute. It's meant to be a positive, cultural, beneficial attribute so that everybody has a decent life. It's not meant to be a destroying, like, let's knock someone off their center while they're doing good in the world type thing, which is what these accusations seem to be. They don't seem to be stemming from a place of righteousness. They seem to be stemming from a place of malevolence, kind of malfeasance, almost like Machiavellian, kind of just predatory. Do you know what I mean? That's what it's like, as far as I'm concerned.
A group of people. So, out of all the judgment that people got from me posting, I just, without talking to me, and then I respect what Joe said, but there has a lot to do with the not ego or pride of how proud I am to be an African heritage, but also to be living as a free black man here in America, knowing the historical complexities for me to get here. So I'm not going to stand down on anything that I believe in. I'm only going to get stronger because I'm not alone. I have a whole army around me.
You are not alone.
Kyrie, while we're on the topic of promotion,
we're not on the topic of promotion.
Promote something that Alex Jones said.
That was a few weeks ago. I do not stand with Alex Jones.
Same tactic Piers uses.
That he had with Sandy Hook, or any of the kids that felt like they had to relive trauma, or parents that had to relive trauma, or to be dismissive to all the lives that were lost during that.
Right, but I will say, when I watched that Alex Jones court case, I don't get, they've given him that, just as a sidebar, they're giving him that massive fine to shut him up, because everybody remembers. Do you remember Robbie Parker? Do you remember Robbie Parker, the guy that was smiling and then had to do deep breaths to seem upset that his daughter died? Because I don't know about you, as a man with a daughter, I ain't going to be smiling and joking and laughing about nothing, right? I will just be on the verge of tearing some shit apart. I ain't going to be laughing or cracking no jokes. When I saw him again, and remember, when I first saw, I can get back to this in a second, when I saw the Alex Jones thing, I thought, first of all, again, the mainstream media hit me. First, I thought, Alex Jones, man, irresponsible man, like, you know, so, but then I saw this dude come up onto the stand again, and I'm like, nah, I don't believe that you are a man, right? I didn't believe this is, I didn't believe, once again, like, this was meant, you were meant to pass the smell test. Here you are, you have your opportunity, you're in court. Dude's talking about, and just, I'll get back to this, dude in the Alex Jones case, his bereaved father is talking about how he's out, and some dude is in his face telling him about how his daughter's not dead and it's all a hoax, and he ran home and cried. Excuse me? And and when I got to the door, my wife saw me and said, "What's wrong?" And my face was red, and I put my head in her hands. What? No, you're not a man. You're not a man. And I freaked out about that shit. Something stinks about the Alex Jones case. It stinks. It stinks. That's not man. Because guess what? I think me and 90% of the normal red-blooded men like me, if someone said something horrible about my daughter who just died and they were in my face, I don't care if they was 7 foot tall, right? And I was 3 foot tall, I'm biting you in your nuts. I don't give a shit, yeah? I'm going in the head, I'm going, like that, I'm going in the, yeah, I don't care. I will use my physical body to hurt you the best place I can. If you're going to come up to me in the street and say that to me in the street, you're going to get spread like jam on the pavement. I tell you what, I'm not going to do. I'm not going to run home and then stress the wife and the kids out because I'm upset. As a man, you're meant to keep that shit away from your wife and kids, that stress. You don't go home blubbering when someone says something horrible to me on the street. What? I didn't buy it. I saw that performance again that had some of the other women tearing up and that, and I was like, I'm thinking this is a whole not heterosexual man. I did not for one iota get the inclination that he was a heterosexual man on the stand. Did you like that? How'd you like them apples? Not for one solitary moment did I think that was a heterosexual man who had sired daughters. No. So, like, and I went into this thinking, Alex Jones, man, irresponsible man. And I came out thinking, nah, this fucking stinks to high heaven. There's some mad acting going on and doubling down on that shit as well. If you ask me, that's what I think. If you ask, it stinks to high heaven, right? And then you're gonna find the guy nearly $1 billion. Obviously, they're ruining him, right? They're ruining him. Anyway, let's try and end out with the Kyrie.
Tragic event. My post was a post from Alex Jones that he did in the early 90s or late 90s about secret societies in America of occults.
Which is true.
It's true. So I wasn't identifying with anything of being a campaignist for Alex Jones or anything. I was just there to post. And it's funny, and it's actually hilarious because out of all the things I posted that day, that was the one post that everyone chose to see. It just goes back to the way our world is and works. I'm not here to complain about it. I just exist.
And to follow up on
the
promotion of the movie and the book.
Can you please stop calling it a promotion? What am I promoting?
Put it out on your platform.
But I'm promoting it?
He's being a slime. he's saddling him with promoting, and then the caveat with promoting is they're going to layer this thing is anti-Semitic, and he's promoting it. He's promoting anti-Semitism. So right now they're being snakes, and they're trying to saddle him with promotion, and they're trying to do it in a sly way first. They're going to saddle him with promotion, make him take responsibility for promoting. Now, like their faulty logic, anything that we post is promotion. If I post Donald Trump, that means I'm promoting Donald Trump. Anything I post is now promotion, according to them. This is the faulty agenda-focused logic that's used, right? So they're trying to sneakily set him up with acceptance of promotion first. Then they're going to layer anything they want on top of this. Anti-Semitic, it's racist. No, it's not. No, it's not, because I just showed you Babylon to Timbuktu, yeah? Babylon to Babylon, yeah? Babylon. Yeah, Babylon to Timbuktu. I showed you black Jacobins, like Jacobins, yeah, like Jacob Esau, Jacobins. Nature knows no colour line, where you can see all the heraldry, and you can see the coats of arms of people who knew who they were. Hebrewisms of West Africa, yeah. So Hebrewisms of West Africa. Yeah, Hebrews to Negroes. It's pretty much near enough the same title. So is my historic work on my culture, is this now anti-Semitic, which tells me about the Haitian revolutions and Trinidad and other things like Duppy and Anansi and all of these things that we have in our, yeah, Duppy is ghost or spirit. And did you know that? Duppy, yeah, Duppy. In Hebrew, spirit, ghost. Or Duppy is the P, right? But Jamaicans Duppy, innit? Oh yeah, oh you didn't know that? Oh, you didn't know that? Oh yeah. So all of my books anti-Semitic then? See, this is the war that's coming to my door. I was off trying to play games and shit. I was doing Star Citizen and playing games and stuff.
Do you see me doing? Do you see me in front of
putting it out there,
the
people
title?
are going to say that you are.
Yeah, I put it out there just.
Like
okay.
It's not
you put things out there for a living, right?
Snake.
But my stuff is not.
So let's move on. Let's move on.
Anti-Semitic.
My stuff's not filled with anti-Semitic. His stuff's not filled with anti-Semitics. I think, although he's deflecting, I think he should put the onus on him to prove the words he's using. Yeah, he needs to exemplify the words that he's using. I would put it on him to exemplify which aspects of that was anti-Semitic. Can you name me a passage? Can you name me a chapter? I'd do that, because clearly this guy's just full of shit, and he's still pressing anti-Semitism even though his name's Kyrie, which means Yahweh, and his son's name is Elohim.
Move on. Don't dehumanize me up here.
I'm not doing that.
Another human being. I can post whatever I want. So say that and shut it down and move on to the next question.
But Kyrie, you have to understand that
I don't have to understand anything from you.
But you have to understand the arrogance. The arrogance. The arrogance. You have to understand the arrogance, man. Good on this guy.
Me.
Nothing.
By
it's no people that you're making up, bro. Move on.
But by posting
move
what
on.
you
Next
did,
question.
Anybody
Do you guys have any more questions for me?
Say,
now, hold on a second. Does this seem like does the interviewer seem like he's on a righteous course of action to you? Are you feeling righteousness coming from this interview? Or are you feeling fucking snake? Yeah, because I'm feeling snake. Yeah. But trying to get around it. He's trying to. Wait, you know, I don't have to stick accusations of racism on anyone. Like, do you not see me doing my Twitch? Yeah, I don't have to stick accusations of racism. I just let them keep providing the rope, keep providing the rope, and then I hurt their little hearts by showing them they're not as intellectually as astute as they thought they were, and then they go, woo! And it comes out, and I go, nice one, ban. Thanks for the conversation. It helps with the algorithm, you know. When they keep coming. Well, then I'm going to jump in your Discord. I'm going to talk to you. I'm like, what? You're going to do what? No, you're not. One thing I learned from Kevin Samuels, yeah, I'm running this format. I run this format. Can't tell me shit. Off you go to have your little tantrum. Well, it just means that you can't talk. Okay, I think I'm doing pretty fine where I am right now. Thank you very much. TV powerful builds against it. Oh, okay, thank you very much, CFR. I'm just winding it up. Just coming out with Kyrie Irving here.
You guys have any more questions? Because this is going to be a clip. This is going to be a clip that he's going to mark.
Because he has anti-Semitic beliefs. Why can no one tell you what it is? Look, please, next time you hear this shit, ask yourself, what was the statement? What was made? What was made? Because, hey, hold on. For us normal people, hold on, because you have to understand. Be you black or be you white. Right now, we're both in the same boat. Because there's a new player in town. The new player's coming in and he's telling you that they're really important. And white people are going, oh, really? And black people are going, oh, not this bullshit, I knew it was coming. Yeah? There's a new player in town, right? 15 minutes behind the live. Oh, okay. Right, do 15 minutes behind the live. There's a new player in town. You got to recognize it. And you have to ask yourself, is this new phenomenon, is it coming from a good place? Is it coming from out of the heart? Is it making the world better? Do you think this interviewer's questions is making the world better, or is he causing controversy and potentially trying to destroy the career of a young man? By trying to needle, is it something that's free flowing, or is he trying to needle something out of his own making? It's like he's trying to create the reality and then put the reality onto him. That's what I'm seeing, and he's resisting it. I think these guys could be a little bit more articulate when countering these interviews, because I think they really are B grades. I don't think they're very intelligent at all. Dude's still going to try and press him for anti-Semitism right at the end, even though his name's Kyrie and his son's name is Elohim. It don't get more Hebrew than that.
Marvelat, is this any more questions?
But you're not answering the question.
Oh, it's another answering your question. Oh my God, let's make another Instagram clip so we could be famous again. Next question.
Kyrie, basketball related.
Well done, Kyrie. Didn't know who you were 48 hours ago, but you know what? Plant or not, at least he's a little bit better with the articulation. I don't think he's a plant because he danced around that fairly nicely. There are ways to dance around it. He danced around without getting suckered. He didn't walk into any of the tank traps. So there's a brain going on there. You know what I mean, I did see something from one of the elders earlier on who was like, going, oh, he could be another one of the sellouts, and they're letting the sellouts come in. It's true. Yeah, I know they are. But if you ask me, right, and there's not to counter any of the elders at all, right, but if you ask me, there are certain people that come in and fake the funk, and they don't have the appropriate articulation to persuade you that they know what they're talking about. So when Kanye came in and made that J-word generality, that's too offensive. That's offensive. Look, we're all adults in this world playing this game, but if as a creative, you've got to think about all the young kids. Like, think about the raps of, like, back in the day when I was into Public Enemy was hardcore and everything. Young white kids were into Public Enemy. Jewish kids were into Public Enemy. Indian kids were into Public Enemy. Chinese kids were into Public Enemy. And they're all innocent souls who love your stuff. You know what I mean? Now, with great power comes great responsibility. You could turn around and make a general statement like that. You're not just talking to the men of the society, which really you're trying to talk to the men of society, but those words are hurting all the kids of the society, the ones who don't get it, the ones who don't see the nuance. Do you understand what I'm saying? That is where his general terminology has let him down and has opened the door for everybody and their mum to come in and say that he's racist, right? Because I guarantee you, I could say someone's Christian, and I'm not going to get in trouble. I can say someone's Muslim, and I'm not going to get in trouble. But hell, I can say someone's a Rastafarian, and I'm not going to get in trouble. I can say someone's a Buddhist, and I'm not going to get in trouble, right? So, understand. You know who's in power from who you're not allowed to criticize, because they shut your shit down when you do. You just have to be smart enough to modify your language so you don't fall into the tank trap of this simplistic moron who's asking Kyrie these questions, because he's a dumbass. Asking the dude questions when his name is, I have to say, when his name is Yahweh, and his name's Kyrie, which is Yahweh, or Yahweh, right? Yahweh, right? And his son's name is Elohim, the Supreme One. Shit. And you're going on about anti-Semitism, mate. Go and read a book, because you don't know the first thing, and you're talking to a Semite, a Shemite. Anyways, shout out to anyone who bothered watching me. That's the shit. The UK did Nord Stream. Yeah. Pelosi thing is a false flag, right? And Kyrie Irving is right. Peace. I'll see you on the next one. Which one? Which outro? Shall I do the slave one? The one with all the swearing in it. Now, you know what? I'm gonna do the PG one. Yeah. I just made a number of outros anyway. Please, this is my Sussex outro. See you next time.
My brigade is nearby. We're ready to free all your friends and kinfolk. But we'll need your help.
Oh, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. I got a letter saying I can join Catcher Freeman Brigade and ride out with the... And that's your plan? Catcher Freeman, huh? Why not just wait for Santa Claus to take you away on his sled? You don't believe in Catcher Freeman? Of course I don't. I don't believe in the Easter Bunny either.
I'm telling you, man, Catcher Freeman is real. He go around from plantation to plantation, freeing all the slaves and shit. He like 14 feet tall, got trapezius muscles and biceps. Shit crazy. He ain't just no more. He's super. And he like a black-ass Batman, if you will, and he can fly.
Oh, blocked the bullet with his handcuffs.
You're messing up the ending.
Why do you still wear shackles?
So I'll never forget those who are still in bondage. Even though you'll be free soon, you must continue to be a soldier until the war is won.
I want you and that young man to tie that knot. I'm gonna pray for you. And I want you to hold on to God's unchanging hand.
Hell no, Catcher Freeman ain't never do no shit like that. Must have been some kind of asshole told you that story, boy. Hey! Now sit your black asses back and let old Uncle Rucker tell you the real story of Catcher Freeman. Now, Catcher had never known the pleasures of the flesh before, and he was no match for the temptations of Thelma, who in the darkness of night looked even less African than she actually was. As Catcher lay passed out after expending his manly seed.
No! Don't trick Catcher!
First of all, his name wasn't even Catcher Freeman. It was Catch-a Freeman. And he sure wasn't freeing, he was catching. So they took a field slave named Catcher Freeman and turned him into the greatest slave hunter who ever lived. Catcher Freeman retrieved over 700 pieces of human property to their respective owners. Nobody really knows why Catcher was so good at tracking runaways. Some believe he had supernatural powers. One legend said Catcher could actually talk to the dog. Whatever his secret, didn't matter how fast they could run, Catcher would find them anywhere.
Even if we could escape, Catcher come get us.
But Catcher Freeman's stronger and faster than us, Percy. How's it gonna do that? And I mean anywhere.
We gotta get this Catcher Freeman.
Catcher!
He gonna stay in the big hole?
Yes!
Damn! In the big hole!
Well, you got a problem with that?
Oh, come on. I got no problem with it.
Let's swing it!
I'm out of here. I want you people ready to move.
Tell you, man, Catcher Freeman is real.
That name was Freeman. Catcher Freeman.